Bastards, we're going to try to do another video movie review. Uh, my last one failed because for some reason, 1 minute after I posted, yeah, some company said it was author's rights while I was doing fair use, but whatever. I will try again with this one, and it's The Way Back. It's about a guy who is sent to a gulag. If you don't know what a gulag is, I would advise to search it up because yeah, it's not a pleasant look into human history, let's say. All right, so let's see what we can learn from as a survivalist, as a prepper. What we can learn from this movie? What are the good things? What are the mistakes? And so on. And yeah, getting hammered in the same time. So let's see what this baby gives. All right. So, first of all, if you are being sent to whether it's a prison, whether it's a gulag, whether it's a concentration camp or something like that, in what country, in what time, doesn't matter. Always be observant through all the way. That's what will keep you alive. What this guy did, he probably will not have thought of it because, yeah, he could not have known it yet where he was going. But if you want to be prepared, look around. Look because you will not have the opportunity to look outside of the prison or the camp that you are sent to. So that means the time that you're going through that gate, that's one of the few times you can check the surroundings. Check if you going to have to escape, even if you do not plan for it, do it to be certain. Just that you can say, oh, there are the defenses. There are that many guards usually. From what I saw, they got guard dogs, and those things you can try to anticipate more if you are aware of them. Knowledge is power, and another thing is they passed a column of prisoners who have been there for a longer time. These are the guys who are going to check out the new ones. Why? Because they will probably want to know who is who. What can we do? What can they do for me, or in exchange for this, or in worst cases, who can we exploit to get stuff or to do some extortion? Those are the dark realities of any prison system. Doesn't matter if you're in the west, the east, or in a shithole like this. Those are the things you need to watch out for. And if you pass such guards whether they check out you the first time, I would advise to not give them too much eye contact because that will draw attention, and you do not want bad attention in especially this kind of a place. And yeah, because eye contact could be something of something disrespectful if you in prisons. You got certain circles imprisonments. You got the guards. You got the prisoners. But within the prisoners, there are groups and factions probably, like certain gangs, shot callers, or people who have ties with the guards for smuggling or get some favors or something. And then you got the outcasts, the punks, these kind of things. So yeah, that's probably something you need to watch out for if you're going to prison. It could be happen to anyone, somebody, everyone, you, me, everybody could one time at the wrong time make the wrong decision and end up in a place like this. So yeah, that's already a good tip for this guy. I will call him Vasily. I because I have not seen the name yet because it was in Russian, but I call him Vasily for some reason.
Planning on surviving on half rations, son. He's an old man. I'm an old man. I'll be alive in the morning. He won't.
All right. So several things we saw here. First of all, there were a group of blind men following their way to the food rations, and yeah, they say it's because of a vitamin D deficiency that they went blind. So that's the first sign that you know food is going to be scarce and you'll need every nutrient. Because the next scene we saw, I think they are outcasts or something in this prison because they were eating slop that that would not feed them. I think because they do not even use it for the prisoners. The guy dropped by accident his bread, and before one of those starving guys could grab it, he just put his leg on it and took it just as calm as possible. This might seem brutal, but to be honest, it's the right thing. It's the right thing to do if you want to survive. I know it might sound immoral, but yeah, if you're in a place like this, you're going to need every calorie that you can get, even every nutrients, because of the blind guys who got vitamin D deficiency. If you find plants that can have nutrients, wild plants, even weeds, these, if you can find those around and eat those, that could help you survive another day by getting more nutrients. Yeah, the guy, I will call him Vasily because I still don't know his name because of the Russian titles were not included in this. Um, but it does. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, he wanted to give the one of those starvation guys some half of his food, but the guy says he will be dead in the morning. I'm not. So yeah, that's good advice that the guy gives. So in a way, if a person in a prison system gives you advice like this, that's somebody you can perhaps trust because he did not ask something for in return for it. So yeah, that's also already some person you can in a way start to bond with for your survival. So yeah, that's something you need to do. You will need to be harsh because that one guy, if other inmates saw him sharing his rations with one of those in the lower ranks, the outcast, they would see the kindness of Vasily here as a weakness that they can exploit themselves. So you cannot show any weakness like the old man here. So yeah, it's brutal, but in this system, it's the way to survive. And if you ever have the unfortunate way to get in such a prison system, yeah, be like the old guy here, and you will survive a day longer. It will not be pretty. You will do horrible things, but everything you need to do to survive.
Возьми пальто. Хочу свитер. Бабушка вязала, что ли? Естественное начальство.
Holy shit, that was brutal. So from what I gather is these guys, the read about these in the history books. These are like Russian criminal gangs that they formed in the gulags. You can recognize them, and it's usually something similar in a lot of prison systems in even today's. These are the people who are having a lot of tattoos and a certain uniformity, like they are all bald and have a certain type of tattoos I noticed. And yeah, they run the things because they have the monopoly on violence. They have the numbers. If anybody is against them, they will fight back and they will take what they think is them. So in this system, it's very brutal. Like the guy who lost just it's I think it's Brad Pitt. I shall call him Brad Pitt. Why the hell not? Uh, Brad Pitt, the Russian Brad Pitt, lost at the card game, but he needs to repay his debt. So he takes one of the new guys and asks for a jacket. But when he asks for his sweater, but the guy offers his jacket instead because the sweater was from his wife, I think, and Russian Brad Pitt wants the sweater and nothing else. And because the guy talked back to him, especially in face of the other criminal gangs over there, he would have lost respect or something, and he just tapped the guy to make an example, also to the other person to not talk back because he's making a statement, a not good statement, but that's the way this system here works. So yeah, be very carefully if you want to talk back to don't I would say don't talk back to such guys because they will have the numbers, they probably have weapons, and they have the will to use violence just for something stupid like a sweater. Although a sweater could be mean survival in here, but here it's not for survival, it's just for a card game, it's for greed. So yeah, be very carefully with that's what I said in the beginning about you do not want to get bad attention from the inmates that run the place. So try to be a gray man. Try to not stand out. Try to not show what you got. Always never be in the middle. Never be in the spotlight. Never be the first or nor the last. So be a gray man. That's the lesson we can learn from this. And yeah, if you want to survive, you sometimes have to take in your pride and hand it over to live another day. Although, yeah, it's brutal, but this was a reality and is sometimes still a reality for a lot of people these days.
You want me to draw you? No, not. Дружь пробежала по всему телу Дима, как только старый пират уставился на него. Он был весь в шрамах и татуирован. И нога у него только одна. Я Лом Джон Сильвер, сказал он. А я знал такого типа. Помните Игоря, одноногого? Ты заткнись, ты! Давай продолжай, либо получишь. Что там твой Джон Сильвер? Шел сокровище. Вот, и Дима отправился к острову сокровищей со своей кровавой бандой головорезов. Были люди, которые убьют, не моргнув глазом. Люди, которые...
This is a perfect example how skills and knowledge are very valuable because the one guy is a good drawer, so he's probably done this as a job. But the other guy, Russian Brad Pitt, he's in debt, and he gave in exchange for some dirty, how do you say this, dirty drawings. He gave the guy some paper and pencils in exchange for a drawing. So it's kind of a how do you say this? Exchange comments. How do you say this? They they exchange things, services, and goods in this mini system of the Gulag. So the guy could use his skills of drawing to get some extra food, some other services, perhaps even protection. So that's something you need. That's why you need skills and knowledge. Another thing is the other guy was telling a story in Russian, but I understood he was talking. He was telling a story about Long John Silver, which is a pirate book. So his kind of service was entertainment in this area. The other criminals gangs were uh, he's like a television for them. He's telling stories in exchange for probably protection or money or foods or cigarettes or something. So yeah, those were two good examples of how you can exchange skills for other goods. So yeah, another thing we can learn from Russian Brad Pitt over here is don't make debt, because he's deep from the earlier poker game. He still needs to pay back this criminal gang leader or something. So yeah, he's finding several ways to do that in piece by piece, and the debt is probably high by what I can see, or he has a gambling addiction. So that's another thing. If you're in a prison system or a camp, do not gamble. Do not make debt. That's a bad thing to be in, because they can an exchange. They will have power over you. They can ask for more than they previously said because of rent or some bullshit reason, or yeah, to exploit you. So don't get in debt and exchange skills that you have for your survival.
So, leg biker. You are Repagan. What is Repagan? Boss of York. We are not criminals. We are escaping from criminals. I've been watching you. I swear to God, you win my respect with your sticks and bangles. How come between you and this? So you want to be my bodyguard? It's your way. You have me, and you have the vote.
This is fantastic shown. Yeah, you skipped a whole part of the movie probably, but now they have, after a long escape scene in the where they lost the dogs, the guards, and through a blizzard, they need to find a way. They need to find a way, and they need to know which direction they are going. So Vasily, I shall keep him Vasily, whatever his name is. He's doing the trick to navigate by using a stick. Uh, put the shadow on the end of the stick with a pine cone. Wait for 50 minutes till the shadow moves. Put another stick, and those, if you put a line between those two cones, that's that's the south and the north line. So that way, I showed this example in my video about navigation skills, and it works. It really works. So yet again, this guy wins the respect of a Russian Brad Pitt because of his skills. So they know now, the group knows they need him because he got some survival skills that the group will depend on. So that increases the chances of Vasily over here to be more protected, to be not left behind or be betrayed or something. So that's yet again another example of how skill and knowledge can save your life in any or the most situations. So yeah, that's a very good showing over here.
Go and find food like the others do. You do the shutting up. Drawing all day like you're on holiday. I'm sick. I cook. They find food. What do you ever do? Nothing. But I make you all laugh. No, not anymore, you don't. First today, I think the artist, but better if it was him. Funny name. I better have Zoran or soft or tender. Mr. Won't catch you. Full fish now. We must have meat or we die. Or the bagan you thought of this we all have. And that's why you brought extra people, isn't it? For food. No, we will get more food when we get to Lake Bakel. Well, plenty of fish there. You said you would have seen lake a week ago. Huh? We're lost.
Right, several things here. If you're in a survival group, in a group that needs to survive in the wild like this, then it's better to try to put your put your skills and your help together, because one of these guys is often complaining, making jokes, but it starts to bothering the group. Uh, so yeah, so instead of finding food, he is not helping. He's not really helping. So that's not a position you want to be in. So yeah, do your part, and the group will do it the same thing to you. So yeah, that's something very important if you are in a group and we don't be able to survive. The next thing, it is actually for something from they actually did when they escaped from not always, but there are records of people who done this escape technique, because you see Russian Brad Pitt is in the middle of the night, he's talking to Vasily about who he thinks will die first. Um and first Vasily thinks, because he's just talking, but it's for a reason that he says this, because he says, I think he's going to die because he's more. I hope he's dying because he's more soft, tender, which. And then Vasily is surprised, but then he said, "That's why you brought all these people with us, right? For food." That's actually something that really happened. Here, they at least have not planned it ahead about this, but but this guy is planning to eat if somebody of them die for the meat, so they can continue their very long journey, because it's almost like 1,000 kilometers they will have to travel or something. But yeah, there is a more macabre piece of history linked to this, because certain escape techniques from the Gulag is two guys escape, but they take with them somebody fresh, somebody who's just got in jail in the Gulag, and they say, "Escape with us." And the thing is, the guy who is usually not a violent criminal, who is just a political prisoner in this Gulag, is going along with the two more adept criminals, and they escape. But to them, he's just a walking meat ration. So the moment their rations start to run out, they would kill the guy, the new guy, who still has a lot of body mass, in contrary to the older prisoners who escaped. They will kill them in their sleep, and they will, yeah, eat him, cannibalizing. So yeah, and then the real problems start, because if they have to go further, those two guys will not sleep well, because they did it to that one guy, but they cannot trust each other to slit their throats, each other's throats even while they're sleeping. So yeah, that's a very dangerous thing to not only think about, but to watch out for if you are perhaps the one they are targeting for as a walking dinner, to say. So yeah, this is not that far fetched, and we can learn something about this. And it's unfortunately it really happened in history.
He said he lived on a farm near Warsaw.
Yes.
Soviets didn't get that far. That was German territory. Your parents weren't murdered, were they? You made all that up. We've all done terrible things to survive. But don't ever lie to me again. We've had enough of lies. Heeft het wel altijd. Zeker. Sorry. Nou, de airbox. If they is heel handig met ons strategies. Need food. Look, I know we need food. We can't go into that town and risk arrest. We're wasting time. What is he? What's wrong? Where's Falcon? He's behind Zora. Zora, what you mean? No, he's keeper. Damn. You turn us into a bounty. Risk arrest? He's a gambler. Irena, do you think he would do that?
Knife.
We don't need his knife. We can make one out of deer bowl. It's an opportunity to get rid of him. Alright. Alright. Let's go. What's the funny man? Hey. You want to get us all killed? Easy, cowboy. There, Michael. Am I? Let's see who's idiot. What? Did I kill? Yes. Dog. Don't believe me, then don't eat. But you will, won't you? Because you want to survive. I know about survive. All my life. And it's my birthday.
All right, several things. The girl, there was a girl following them, and eventually she was allowed to get into their group to survive. But the girl was made up stories, so the group would accept her more, would help her more out of pity. So that's a way to survive. But we can learn something from this, because the one guy he saw through her lies. How? Because he knew information that would disprove her, that would disprove what she said. So those are two important lessons. If in this case, especially a woman is making up a sad story, it's in a survival situation. It could be hard to believe because yeah, like she did, it could be to get pity on her, so that men are more willing to help her. And it could not only be a lie; it could also be the fake promise of intimacy or even sex or something like that. So yeah, that's something you need to watch out for if people try to lie to you or the group to get something in return. So watch out for that. The guy was real, and it also helps like knowing about situations like updates of the news, just regular information that you get, because that's how we discover. That's how we could claim that she was lying, because she told a story and he knew some facts that disproved that. So we can learn something from this. don't take any story and try to verify it with other factors or facts that could stand that information higher up on the probability. And yet again, don't believe everything that and try to be, how do we say this, try to be more alert of what happens in the world. So just try to know a lot, try to know a little of everything. That's perhaps a good thing, to pick out certain lies. Another thing is, they it was good that they not went to that village, because the if you escape from a gulag and a village was discovered from hiding escapee, then the persons in that village would get punished. So it was very wise that they would not get through town. Uh, so because those people in those towns, they know each other, they know that there is perhaps a bounty on their head if they find an escapee from the gulags. So that's also something for in real life. Do not trust anyone, and do not uh, just believe in the goodwill of humans, because not at least not just like that, because it could be you could meet that good Samaritan, but that will be only one of in 10 persons in this kind of survival situations. So if you escape from somewhere, do not just try to observe the people first before you interact with them. That's perhaps the good advice we can get from this. Russian Brad Pitt, he made also a good point, because if they would not get food, they would starve even more and they could not get to the village. But he sacrificed his life almost for getting in the town alone, getting some food, and getting back to the group. So he has a point by saying that you need to do what you need to do to survive, even if it's doing something bad like stealing. And he also had blood on him, so he claimed that it was from killing a dog. But yeah, why would he lie about that? Although yeah, he's proven that he's a ruthless killer. But yeah, it's something you need to watch out for at the person at certain times. Just it's difficult to tell if somebody is trustworthy or not, even if you traveled with them this long. But I would incline, because of the bond they formed and gained respect from each other in a way, that I would believe that he's telling the truth. And he came back with food, so that's another reason to believe him. All right. Yeah. We'll go to the next.
All right, everybody keep calm. Oh my God! No, don't run, don't run. Be calm, and smile, be friendly. Okay, whoa. Everybody smile. Hey, русские! Есть! Американец! Охот! Лошадь, да, сидеть. Странник! Да. Лошади есть? Вы слышно здесь nicht. Über mir младший идет. Жена? Нет. Дочь. Ай! Доброе утро.
All right. So they crossed the border and they are now in Mongolia. and yeah, they're in desert area, and there are these nomadic people around here. So yeah, it could be dangerous. They could have hostile intentions when they came across with their horses, but the American Mr. Smith was very smart over there. He said, just stay calm, smile, and pretend that you're on a pilgrim, that they are pilgrims. So yeah, the Mongolian horseman was asking questions. He asked something about who the girl was, and the American said, "That's my. I think he's my. That's my wife, or that's my daughter," which is very smart because if you know something about nomadic tribes, it's yeah. In some parts, do some. They have a certain way to gain women or partners by capturing them and then negotiating with the parents or something for a marriage. So it was very good that he said that it was his daughter, because if it was a girl just on her own without a chaperone or a guardian, then they could have kidnapped her. So that's a very wise thing to say. And yeah, the good thing is these nomads have a certain tradition or ritual or something that they help people in the desert. It's some sort of unspoken rule, why it seems, because one of the horsemen gave them a bag with water. So yeah, that's the thing about nomadic people, nomadic tribes, people, and cultural things is they can be hostile in certain ways, but they can also be friendly in other ways. So yeah, you got to be lucky to get the right person at the right time, I guess. So yeah, but always de-escalate the situation. Try to appear friendly. Do not make yourself look like you are scared or have other intentions than you would like to show them. So that's something we can learn from this scene.
Don't kill yourself. You'll get sick.
Right. Here we see some good desert tips. They kept seeing these mirages and they were misled that, oh, there's water, but it was a mirage. Until the time they saw a mirage with birds. Yeah, mirages don't have birds, so they knew the birds must have some water somewhere in this desert area. So that way they knew up there was water. That's all a very good thing. Next thing is the guy says don't drink too much, otherwise you get sick. That's also a good tip. When you're dehydrated, you need to take little sips. Otherwise, if you drink if you feel yourself totally full when you're almost on the verge of dehydration, then you get sick and you will throw up and lose more moisture than you could have put in. So that's something you need to watch out for when you're in this kind of desperate situations. What we see behind it is also very good. They take shades they make some sort of covers with their coats to make a shade, and they rest in the day. Yeah, in a desert you want to travel more at night, which could be make it more difficult unless you know you can read the constellations to know the direction where you're going, or yeah, it could also be difficult to see where you're going on a visual track to see mountains, paths, and such. But yeah, that is also a good strategy if you do not have much resources like water. uh, yeah, travel at night, and it's also good for the temperature. And another thing I want to notice is you see how they are in the desert and they wear these big headbands and covers. You would think most people would think it's very warm. Why do they have so much clothing? it's actually good to have more clothing when it's warm, because you want the sweat that you lose from your body. You don't know what you do not want to that to evaporate just like that with less clothing. If you have more clothing, the sweat will get into the clothing and will have a longer cooling effect on your skin, because that's what sweating is. But if the sweat is keep blowing away or evaporating, that's kind of dangerous, because you lose sweat too much because your body keeps drying out. So yeah, that's something very important to do if you're in a heat or a desert situation like this. Have Cover as much of your body, and not only for the moisture of your sweat as a cooling effect and to save on water in your body, but also against sunburns, because you do not want to get sunburned in this kind of situation. Cheers, you guys.
When I helped my father in the fields during the hot summers, we used to suck on small stones like these. Made us feel less thirsty.
So the guy is taking a few pebbles, little stones, and put them in his mouth, and says, "Suck on." When I used to work in the fields with my father, he would say, "Suck on little stones, and you feel less thirsty." Well, yeah, there are two things. There are two things that this works a little bit actually. First of all, is psychological, because if you suck on the stone, you do not think about the constant thirst you have, and if it's more like a placebo effect, and if you think it works, your body will think that that it works. So yeah, it's more placebo effect on a psychological way in this case, and in a certain way I can understand it, because if you suck on a stone, and that means you keep your mouth shut and you breathe through your nose. So if you're in a situation where there is less water and you need to conserve as much water in your body as possible, yeah, you will breathe. You lose less moisture or fluids through breathing your nose than in your mouth. So with a stone in your mouth that you cannot breathe through that, yeah, that's in a way that could help actually. So in a way it help. It does not hurt, but it only helps a very small bit. Right. So that was the guy. He saw a snake in the morning going somewhere, and he followed that snake. And that's actually kind of interesting, because at dawn, most animals, birds, mammals, and perhaps even snakes, will go to the nearest water site to drink in the morning and before the night falls. That's a pattern that most animals have. So if you can follow those animals, you will know that they will go to some sort of water source. And seems it's a desert, it's probably the nearest over there. So yeah, another thing is it was somewhere lower in a little valley. So that's a place where you will find perhaps water that is still laying from the last rainfall, or still in the mud. So that's where they found water to survive and get safe from dehydration. Another thing is because they found snake skin, they knew there is a snake around somewhere here, and they used it to hunt it for food in the desert area. So yeah, that's a good source of proteins, especially for these guys. So yeah, that's a very good portrayal, I would say. Oh.
Welcome to India. Paper passport, please. Never mind. Come with me. Chalo, chalo, chalo. Chalo, chalo. Where have you come from? Siberia. Siberia? Oh, go wala. Idhar Russia mein aako re. And how did you come here? We walked. What? Oh, suno, paidal aako re. Paidal idhar hai.
So the guys, they finally reach safety. It seems they get all the way from Siberia to Mongolia and now into India or Pakistan. I think it's India. Yes, it was India. So they went a very long way. So yeah, they are now saved, and it is almost the end of the movie. Yeah, he's got back to the girl who, in the beginning, turned him over and lied about it to get that was, and that's the way Vasily over there got sent to the gulag. His name is not Vasily, but whatever. I still call him Vasily. All right, so this was a very interesting movie, I would say. Yeah, we learned you can learn a lot of it. It's realistic. It's even historical, realistic with how it looked, how the people acted and such. So yeah, we can learn a lot from this in survival terms. I have nothing bad to say, actually. To be honest, there is not many mistakes. There are only good things I saw. So yeah, it's a good movie. I would advise to watch it. It's a good movie. Yeah, so this is the end. Subscribe, like, leave a reaction or something, and yeah, I hope this movie reaction does not get others' rights deleted or something, because yeah, I'm I'm between fair use, so we'll see what it will happen. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.